Welcome to the Know Before You Go Travel Show, where we share all the latest travel tips, tricks, and insights to make your next vacation the best one yet. So sit back, relax, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the show with Penyak Travel's George Penyak and our senior travel consultant, Janet Penyak.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
We are back for another edition of the Know Before You Go Travel Show, and we are here to give your earbuds a mental vacation. Vacation for your ears, right? This
yeah,
show?
There you go.
Well, we hope you guys are enjoying the show. Before we get into the episode, thank you so much for listening. Give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We really, really appreciate you guys checking us out. We've had listeners from all over the world, really. I mean,
yeah, it's really crazy to think that our voice is broadcast like that, but
yeah, I mean, the travel agency's simply blown up. We don't really know how else to put it, and we're getting listeners from Canada, Europe, Africa, Australia.
Had in Africa?
Yeah, I think we had a couple in Africa.
Oh, wow.
We're far-reaching now.
Never been to Africa.
It's really cool. Asia, actually, too. But thank you guys, wherever you are listening to us, whether you're...
Oh, yeah, we had some in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
We've had some in India. And if you're running on the treadmill, if you're working out, if you're on your morning commute, if you're winding down at night like we are right now, we're having a little wine. Cheers.
Yep,
Give me a little cheers. Give me clink the cups.
Cheers.
Give me a little cheers. Ding. Hope everybody heard that. Anyways, yeah, it's happy hour for us, so we're going to do a little show. And this is a show we've been meaning to do for a while, but this show is all-inclusive or not all-inclusive. That is the question.
Yeah, and we kind of wanted to talk about it because we had that experience recently. We went, if you've listened to some of the earlier podcasts, but we went to Baha Mar in the Bahamas, which is not an all-inclusive resort. And it's just a completely different experience. So we just kind of wanted to do a little podcast on it and talk about our thoughts on, what you get with all-inclusive and all that. So
yeah, so it's definitely a different experience. We've actually been to a lot of non-all-inclusive resorts and a lot of places that, aren't all-inclusive. We've been to a lot of Four Seasons here domestically.
in Scottsdale. That was awesome.
Ritz-Carlton, Grand Hyatt, all sorts of stuff. And then internationally, we've actually done a lot of non-all-inclusives. Cruises, actually.
Cruises, they're not all-inclusive, but, it does include your meals, but no alcohol.
Yeah.
So.
And then some cruise lines do have the package, which is nice.
Yeah, you can buy the package.
And, so that's the big question. I think a lot of couples or, honeymooners or people traveling for anniversary trips, that's a big decision. Do you get the value, I guess, is the big question if you're looking at two different properties. Like, people look at it as like, wow, all-inclusive is a lot more expensive. Am I going to really get that value? I think that's a debate a lot of people have. Right,
yeah, and I think a lot of people, I've heard this, well, I don't really drink that much, so it's not worth it to me. But, the thing is it includes all of your meals, and it's completely unlimited. So even if you don't drink, you could still get virgin cocktails, You can
get whatever
mocktails.
you want, yeah.
Yeah, so, and all that would be included.
I think, and my personal stance on it is it really depends. It really depends on you, I think, overall.
And it also depends on the destination, too.
Depends on the destination. But I really think, for me personally, there's something to showing up on a property and putting your wallet away.
Oh, yeah. Then just absolutely not having to ever worry about, well, what is this bill going to be at the very end of my stay? Yeah, there's something to that.
That's before we get into the details of this podcast, I think high level, there is really something to showing up on a property, putting your wallet or purse away, never having to get it out for the entire vacation. Yeah. That makes it really special because when you go back, we go to more all-inclusives than we do non-all-inclusives, but every time we go to a non-all-inclusive resort, every time we're at dinner or something and the bill comes, I'm like, God, another bill? Or you go get a round of drinks or a glass of wine at a bar. Oh, that's $12. It's
more than $12.
Well, I know, but it's just like the constant chipping away while you're on vacation.
Yeah.
But after you've already had the all-inclusive experience where you just go to just equally great restaurants, great bars, and
I feel like
you
it's
get whatever you want.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a little bit more of a relaxing, style vacation too. So, in one thing I tell people too, when you go to these non all-inclusive resorts, they have you because you're kind of there.
Captive audience. It's really hard to leave the resort
and so
sometimes.
so you're not just going to go leave the resort all the time. And then, so they know that and they up the prices on everything.
Yeah. And I don't really think it depends on how much you drink. I really just think it depends on the destination where you're going.
Yeah, because there's some great, Caribbean islands that don't have all-inclusives, or there's some that have some all-inclusives, and then there's some that don't have them. So like Aruba, for example, there's some all-inclusives there, and then there's also some non-all-inclusives there. I would actually suggest probably not doing an all-inclusive because Aruba's all about the food.
Yep.
They're, very well known for a wide variety of great cuisines and chefs and restaurants there. So, there I would not do it because you'll want to go out and experience the different restaurants that you can get on the island, and it's a very safe island. So
it's a good point. I mean, yeah, if there's I think if you're adventurous and like to leave the property a lot, then you're obviously leaving. You could potentially be leaving money on the table, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
There's definitely something to be said for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But like if you go to, say, Jamaica, you're not going to be leaving the property every day. So it's most of the resorts there are all-inclusive, but you absolutely, you would definitely want to do an all-inclusive there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And, I think, so it depends on the couple. It depends on the destination. But there's something to that experience if you are in a place where the all-inclusive resorts are maybe the way to go and you don't want to leave the property that much. There's something to that peace of mind.
Oh, yeah. No,
it just
absolutely.
changes the dynamic of the vacation a little bit.
Right. Well, and I kind of want to compare it because we've gone to and stayed at Nassau several times.
Yep.
And so most recently we were there and we stayed at Baja Mar, which is not an all-inclusive resort. And then a couple years ago, we stayed at the Sandals Royal Bahamian, just right down the street.
A few miles away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's all-inclusive. And I don't know. I mean, I loved Baja Mar. But if I was going to go back to Nassau, I got to go do the all-inclusive because...
If you could only go on one last trip there, I'd probably do the all-inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, because every time we went and got a drink at Baja Mar, $20.
Oh, every time? I was like, gosh. And then you have to
breakfast,
tip, too?
Yeah, I mean,
My
breakfast every day was like $30 just a lunch, for myself.
And it's just like, man, and then see, I think, here's one thing I'll say, and I think I hear this so often just from friends and people that may have not booked with us yet, is I hear, oh, well, I honeymooned at an all-inclusive in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I honeymooned at all-inclusive in the 80s, and it just wasn't nice. And I think the quality has changed dramatically over the years, where if you did honeymoon at an all-inclusive in the 80s or 90s, you're going to get a completely different experience if you tried it now.
Well, yeah,
I think it was more about cost-cutting back then because it was hard to compete. I think now that they've got quality down and service down so good, that you're going to get an equal experience as you would at a non-all-inclusive property. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, and I definitely think, too, that a lot of that also depends on the resort brand. I'm not going to name any names on here, but, yeah, there's certainly some all-inclusive resorts that, it's just you're looking at basic accommodation, basic food,
there are a lot that are still in the game of cost cutting, just trying to put out a decent enough product to warrant an all-inclusive rate. And
you'll have fun, but it's not going to blow you away. So you're not, the restaurants and drinks, it's just mediocre.
You're going to get a lot more buffet style places versus sit down restaurant with a waiter and good service. Right. I think there's a misconception potentially out there that a lot of all-inclusives are just big buffets with burgers and hot dogs.
Yeah, and there are some like that.
There are some, and people have been burned. They'll go to, the resorts, and I think I said this on a podcast way back in the day, but some of these resorts do a really good job of marketing themselves. Like, you'll go on their website and see all these beautiful pictures.
Yeah, they say it's 5 stars, and it's really not 5 stars.
Check out our resort. It's $299 a night or $100 a night, all-inclusive. It's like,
yeah.
Be careful. Yep. Tread lightly.
Yes. But that's what we can help you decipher between all of those. So.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, just a reminder, if you're listening to any of our podcasts and have a question about it, just hit us up. Reach out to us. You can find us on our website, PennyacTravel.com, and just send us a message, or we're really active on Instagram. Just ping us a direct message on that, and we're happy to elaborate on anything. And if you book with us, great. If not, that's okay too. We're not like arm twister high. This is no sales pitch here. We just we literally like to just talk about travel, and we want everyone to have a great experience with it, because I just think unfortunately, there's a lot of bad information out there.
Oh, yeah. And there's also, a lot of people that, think they know a lot about travel, like a lot of agents and that don't really travel themselves. So you just have to be careful.
Yeah. There's a lot of Facebook advice out there. I call it, now listen, nothing against like asking for advice on Facebook, but there's so many people that because we see it so much because we've traveled so much before.
Oh, yeah.
That we'll just see someone comment on something like giving someone else advice, and I look at that, I'm like, I would never do that. Would and I see it, and you can't say anything back. You just don't, we stay out of stuff like that.
I remember that example of your friends who they had been told.
I have an interesting group of friends.
Yes. Well, these are better friends. So, yeah, but they were told that this resort in Jamaica, I won't name it, but that it was just so amazing and that they just had to go, and they asked me about it, and I seriously, they would have died if I would have sent them there. So,
you're candid. Yeah, you're candid with them because you don't want them.
But I mean, that's one thing, speaking on the Facebook advice, everybody's opinions of everything is different.
Oh, so, the taste is different.
Yeah, and they may think this is just absolutely great, but it might not be your cup of tea. So
exactly, yeah. And so going back to all inclusive or not all inclusive, I know this. It's kind of a bland answer, but it definitely depends on the property, the people, and what you want to get out of your trip.
Yeah, and another thing I remember, just speaking on the Baja Mar, just because that was so recently.
Yep.
But at all inclusives, you can go and get all the resorts, they have bottled water, and you can go and get that. And I remember going in the gift shop at Baja Mar to get
a bottle of water,
a large liter bottle of water, and it was Fiji water, which I know is a little bit more expensive, but it was $17.
Or a kidney. You could give up a kidney to get a bottle of water.
And I was like, thanks, but no thanks. I will never spend $17 on a bottle of water.
Yeah, and then we go to beaches and we just ask them to put as much bottled water they could in our room, and they put...
So you drink a lot of water, so...
Yeah, they stacked the entire mini fridge full of bottled water, and it was great.
And that's just another example. So I
that
feel
like... That would have costed us $100.
I know, yeah. Just to get that.
And it was just
insane.
Free, yeah.
So I think, at some of them, if you have the option for just as nice of a resort to get all-inclusive, then I would definitely do that, just because it does make for a different experience. And I don't know, I just kind of I feel like whenever we go to all-inclusives or not all-inclusives, that we get kind of nickel. I don't know, I just feel like I'm nickel and dimed,
Yeah, I do feel that way because... So that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, so it's a different experience.
You feel nickel and dimed. Whether at the end of the day you spend more or not,
right?
It just has that feeling, and it just doesn't, for me, doesn't feel good.
No.
That's why I would just go, if it was up to me and I had one last trip, it would be an all-inclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there are a lot of resorts.
The right
Well, yeah, the right one. Yeah. And there are also a lot of resorts that you can add on an all-inclusive package. If they're not, you'll find that a lot in the Caribbean. And generally speaking, I do absolutely think it's worth it. I mean, you will either come out even or a little bit ahead. I mean, you're not going to lose a ton of money by doing the all-inclusive, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I mean, it's that peace of mind. I don't know. For me, and I compare it a lot to cruises because I love going on cruises because most of your food's included, unless you go to some of their specialty restaurants. But your drinks aren't. And, they got you on the boat, so the drinks aren't cheap.
Right.
And it's just like...
when you're on vacation, you're kind of in vacation mode.
So don't worry about it.
So at 12 o'clock, you're going to have a lunch drink. And, at 2 o'clock, you're going to have an afternoon margarita, So it
we don't drink
up.
that much.
No, but on vacation.
Yeah, on vacation. But yeah, I mean, so, what are... I look back at some of the properties. So the Cape was one, though. The Cape in...
Cabo
was one non all-inclusive that I really did thoroughly enjoy the experience there. And
oh, absolutely. And one good thing about that too is there's lots of good restaurants in Cabo, and it's fairly easy to get around. You can just take a taxi downtown to the marina if you're in Cabo San Lucas. If you're in San Jose del Cabo, then you're farther out of town. But there are still restaurants there too. But the Cape is about 10 minutes from the downtown Cabo San Lucas near the marina, and there's so many great restaurants that you can choose from and go to all in that area. So it's a great spot for a non all-inclusive too. And I mean, I loved it there. I still left feeling like, God, how much did we just spend, but it was good.
Yeah, and the food quality was really, really high.
Oh, yeah, it was excellent.
At the Cape. I mean, they
had all this stuff on the menu. I didn't even know what it was.
But it was really well prepared. Like all of it was extremely high quality, and I agree with you. Some of the stuff it was.
I
very
remember that was
cuisine.
no, but I also remember that for the first time there seeing foie gras. Remember that?
Yeah, foie gras.
I can't even remember what it is. I think it's something with livers or something. But yeah, no, thank you. I did not.
I jumped in. It wasn't bad. I mean, I don't know if that is a native dish to Mexico.
No, I don't think it's a native dish to Mexico, but it just was all sorts of fancy food, and
it was good though.
I'm not really fancy, so
they still had your very basic stuff, but you had a variety there. You had a wide variety there. I remember all the food being real spicy.
Yeah,
super spicy. Bring your Zantac and stuff like that because almost in all the resorts down there, it's just the local cuisine. You're going to get a very authentic experience at most resorts in Cabo.
There's we didn't go to it, but I don't know if you remember, like if you're standing in the Cape looking out at the ocean, right to the left, there was that restaurant kind of up on the hill that just overlooked.
We should have tried that. Yeah,
and you could see the arch and everything. Well, apparently that is a very famous restaurant in Cabo. That's one of the top ones there, and you usually have to get reservations for it like months in advance. But so Cabo is known for their restaurants. So again, I think it does go back to the destination and really what type of vacation you're looking for. But just be prepared. It is a different experience. So if you've done an all-inclusive and then you're going to go and not do an all-inclusive, you might be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say disappointed, but it's just a different experience.
It's just different. Yeah. I mean, so I think the three main factors, the three big takeaways here are what your personality is, like what you like to do, how impactful the dining options are off property. Like, is it a destination that you want to go off property a lot? That makes a difference.
Yeah, so like Cabo, I think would be good. Aruba, definitely good for that. And also another one that comes to mind is Grand Cayman. So
Grand Cayman's a great example. And then lastly, the third one is what kind of experience do you want? Like, do you want to have the peace of mind of just walking into your room? Because it's really weird. Like we go to these all-inclusive properties, and it's cool to just, I never carry my wallet anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't. I never carry, ever.
No, you don't need. You just put it in the safe.
You don't have your purse. I don't have my wallet. We just go on property, get whatever the heck we want.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. It's like, when you think about it, it's really cool, and that there's something there to that convenience for having that just...
and also just swim right up to the bar and just order whatever you want and not having to worry about signing for it. So.
I used to always wonder, like, at the non-all-inclusives, how they did the swim up bar, because I'm like, you can't carry your swim with your wallet, but I guess you, like, give them your room number or something, right?
Yeah, they charge you to your room,
That's what they did. The Cape had one. That's what they did.
Yeah. Another thing on all-inclusive versus non-all-inclusive that we're kind of focusing on the food and drinks, but also the activities, like a lot of the all-inclusive resorts, they include... some activities at the resort like kayaking, paddle boards, hobby cats. Some include snorkeling. So
snorkeling, yep.
It also, again, it's all in what you want to do too. So
yeah, and I think if you're a social bunch, if you're like very just socially active.
Oh, I think all inclusive, right?
Because you're just gonna. It has a more social feel because everyone's getting whatever they want. It's kind of an adult playground.
Yeah.
And I think that changes the dynamic, and you can talk to more people more freely. And it just seems I don't know. There's just something to it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No,
I wish I could describe it better because we're on a podcast. It's just there's something there. And Florida just opened the Florida Keys.
Yeah, we're gonna share this on our Facebook. But yeah, there is an all-inclusive resort that just opened in Key Largo, I think. It was Key Largo. It's called the Bungalows. It looks very nice.
Small property, 12 acres, which is really small.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Well, the Keys, one thing to note about the Keys that a lot of people don't know unless you've been there is it's not really about the beach there. Like, there's not very many beaches. So.
Yeah. Excuse me. But, yeah, like Key West, there's hardly any beaches.
Yeah.
It's more of like, Key West is like a big party city. Like,
It is, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's almost like a mini Vegas. Not like, not that kind of feel, but it's not that much about the beach. It's more about the scenery. I think there's beautiful scenery, but the beaches.
Yeah, and I think it's all about, the party there.
Yeah, like the Duval crawl. You're doing the Duval bar crawl, you're having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of fun. But yeah, and so we really can't comment too much on this all-inclusive in Florida because we've never been, so we're going to have to do our research on it. And next time, we're going to go check it out next time we're down there.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It's called the Bungalows. It looks a little pricey.
Yeah, we just ran some numbers on rates in, I think, September, and we did the first week of September, 7 nights, and it was coming out between $850 and $1,000 a night, which, which is high, but for the States, I always thought that it would be higher in general because our labor wages are a little bit higher, than other countries and islands. So I figured it would be high. I guess that didn't shock me too much, but I look at what you could get maybe elsewhere.
I'm like, there's some pretty awesome destinations you could go.
I mean, 12 acres, you can only have like maybe a few restaurants.
I was going to say, there's probably not that many restaurants.
It's like an options game. Like, you just don't have much. And then also the Key West, you definitely want to go off property.
Or that's Key Largo.
Oh, yeah. Key Largo, yeah.
Yeah, but
you still want to go off property in Key Largo.
Yeah, I haven't been to Key Largo, but we've been to Key West. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to spend that kind of money to just be in Key Largo.
We'd have to go look at it. It might be I think it's probably a very different experience than what we're used to. If I had to guess, we'll go check it out though.
Yeah.
So pretty much that will sum the show up. It's a pretty short show. We're doing all-inclusive versus not. Like, what do you do? We hope we gave you 3 good things to go by there. Yeah. Before you make your decision. And if you have any further questions, always give us a call. We'd love to help.
Well, I have something else.
Well, the trip of the week I was about to go to.
We can talk about that, too.
Is that what you were going to go to?
Well, no, I was just going to say, so
we
what
just
are
freelance this thing. We don't. Okay, what you got?
What are your thoughts on, so I'm sure a lot of people saw in the news about the Viking Ocean cruise in Norway that was stranded, and they were, like, helicoptering people off.
Oh, yeah.
So if you went through that, do you think you'd go on a cruise again?
Ooh, that's a really good question. If I went through that, what I saw... Now, I do take everything I saw with the caveat of the media does tend to overhype. Oh, yeah,
they blow it up.
Do.
Absolutely.
Now, but all that being said, it still looked terrible.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it would...
you can only overhype stuff so much.
The video looked with the ship rocking back and forth like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
it would take me a couple years to go back on it.
It would take me a while.
Yeah.
It would take me a while.
And I love cruises. Like, I love going on cruises. I think it's so... peaceful, just being out there on the ocean and just not being able to see anything. All you can see is water. It's so peaceful. Nice.
And no one died on this side. Like, there weren't any deaths. He had a couple injuries, they said. It did look terrifying.
It looked terrifying.
For me, too, it might take me a little while to get back on a cruise boat, but also I've been on so many cruises that once you've been on so many of them, you kind of chalk it up as this is kind of an anomaly. Like,
I mean, it doesn't really happen.
Cruise boats are on, like, every day. There's cruises going, like, literally, it's kind of like flying every day.
I mean,
there's
thousands of passengers hundreds of probably millions of cruise passengers travel every year. And so, it's definitely, it's not the norm, but
you have a motor go down and you can't get away from a storm, and now you're stuck in a storm with low power. That's, you can walk outside and get hit by a bus too anytime. It's kind of like, it would be a terrifying experience, but I would hope I'd be able to get over it.
Yeah.
I would hope.
It might take a couple years, but yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably do like a short little 3-nighter to the Bahamas or something just to like get my feet back wet and acclimated to cruising again.
Yeah.
But,
or at least like you could do Alaska because then
the waters are super calm.
Yeah, it's
waters
calm
are so
and
calm,
like
glass.
you always see land. So at least okay, well if I had to swim there I could. So
it
might be cold, but
it's really cold, but it would be a short swim.
Yeah.
But it's like flying, I've had some like really bad turbulence. Like I've had terrifying turbulence.
Yeah.
I had one where the beverage cart lady like could barely get the cart back because they were in the middle of beverage service and it hit immediately. And you always hear the pilot say, you got to be prepared for unexpected turbulence. That can happen. That's a real thing. And this flight attendant just darted back there, the thing's shaking back and forth on 2 wheels. And I remember asking the flight attendant, this is back before I had my status, so I was in the back of the plane, which you feel it worse back there, by the way. If anyone's wondering, if you booking flights and you don't want to feel turbulence, most flights I don't feel it at all. Like most flights, you really don't have any. But if you're flying over bad weather, get the middle seat. Like get the seats in the middle of the plane, closest to the wing, because the wing stabilizes. If you're near the back or the front, especially the back, you're gonna feel it. But anyways, long story short,
turbulence I don't like it.
We flipped. It's funny. I used to be the worst flyer. Like you used to be the better flyer than me. Like I used to get sweaty palms when we would take off. Like that was. And now I fly. Last year I did 110 flights in 1 year. Yeah. I am numb. Like turbulence doesn't bother me. It doesn't really. It
bothers me. I don't know. Every time there's a little bit of turbulence, I just get like my heart starts racing. My palms get sweaty, and I think we're gonna die. So.
Yeah, we're not going to die.
I know.
You know what they said? I actually heard somewhere that if you look at aviation history, I don't think there's ever been a plane crashing because of turbulence. I don't think they've ever had a plane crash because of it.
I guess it's all like mechanical.
Yeah, like I think it's always been like either pilot error or mechanical, but just because of
Wasn't there that one though on air disasters, I thought? So George makes me watch air disasters on the Smithsonian Channel.
You would think I would, because I fly so much, you would think I would never want to watch that.
Yeah, it actually is pretty interesting, but it can be kind of scary. But I thought there was one on there that like got struck by lightning or something. I guess that's not really crash because of turbulence. But...
Well, yeah, you get struck by lightning. That's, yeah. And it really is just it's like the dense air, and it goes just like going through a cloud. You always usually feel it. It's just air that's thick, I guess, and just rocks the wings up and down, and you feel little bumps, Yeah,
Mother Nature's a beast, that's for sure.
They do a good job. The pilots do a good job of knowing where the turbulence is going to be. Like,
and they try to go around it.
Yeah, they take off, and if they say, hey, it could be a choppy flight, they let you know. What's real bad is you always feel it in rain. Like, I feel like if you go through rain, it's going to be very choppy. You have thicker clouds, things like that. What I don't like doing, and I don't mind flying almost in anything, but I don't like landing in rain. When the lower altitude you get when you're flying, it gets real rocky there at low altitudes when it's raining. And I think it's a combination of how thick the clouds are. And by the way, I'm no expert. I just watch a lot of air disasters and fly a crap ton. But I think it's a combination of how dense the clouds are. It's thicker clouds, they're full of water, and then the rain on the plane. I did learn on air disasters that when you're landing and taking off, rain and water actually weights the plane down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So the engines work harder, and I think that creates a little more instability, if you will.
Yeah. No, that is true.
Just I'll never.
I know. That's why
you're gonna go down.
Well, that's why I do usually like to have a drink when we fly, just because it does help calm my nerves. But I'll never forget. You weren't with me. I was flying to Vegas to meet you in Vegas, and I was going Charlotte to Philadelphia to Vegas. And in Charlotte, I've never had this happen before or since, but right before we boarded, the gate attendants told everyone that they should use the bathroom now because we were not going to be allowed to get up on the flight because of how bad the turbulence was going to be that they expected.
Was it that bad?
I mean, it was bad. It wasn't. I mean, I expected, it was.
Well, when they say that, you're expecting like a roller coaster.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. So it wasn't like that, but I guess I was like preparing for the worst.
You're expected to be like flying upside down.
Yeah, basically.
That's what I would think.
But I've never had that happen before or since that, but I'll never forget that. So.
Yeah. I've had so many spells of it now. You take hundreds of flights a year. It's like, I think my tolerance level of it is...
Yeah, it's probably better than mine. So.
It's just better. I think it's just better than general, so I don't feel it as much as I used to. But yeah, I mean, rest easy. I mean, I don't know how many planes take off and land every day, but tons. Yeah. Thousands. And it's safe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess so. You want to talk about trip of the week?
Trip of the week. Let's move on to that. So, what is this is like we need to do this segment more often.
I was going to say we
always forget about it.
Yeah, we do forget about it. I mean, I've got so many. I've been so busy.
You have been the agency is on fire. Like, I can't believe how much it's blown up. And we can't thank, if you're a listener and you book trip with us, thank you so much, because
Well, I
we
work
are so grateful and appreciate it.
Yes, and I work 7 days a week. Thank you to everyone.
Yeah, you do work all the time, so
Yes.
you know we're 24/7 business.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. But I've been doing a lot of honeymoons lately, and just like a lot of quick getaways down to the Caribbean. But everybody's planning for the year, so I've done several honeymoons.
You said it was honeymoon season, right? Like, so a lot of people.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
everyone's planning their honeymoon.
Yep, everyone's planning the honeymoon. I did a Hawaii trip recently, and just speaking on our last podcast, we were talking about our Mediterranean cruise. I just booked one of those as well.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah, and then I've had, just speaking back on honeymooners, also just a lot of honeymooners traveling over the last couple of weeks.
You're making this like
St.
a
Lucia,
trips of the week. So St. Lucia's your trip of the week?
Yes, yeah. I was going to say, it's hard to pick one.
You don't have one specific one?
It's hard to pick one. I mean...
Shout out, by the way, to the clients because we always give people koozies, the Panic Travel koozies.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the couple that posted that picture with our koozie. It says hashtag...
Oh my gosh, that made me so excited.
On our koozie, it says hashtag vacation mode, and it has the Panic Travel logo on it. I thought it was awesome because they actually put it on the beach.
Yep.
The 2 beers.
And that was in St. Lucia.
In St. Lucia.
And that's
awesome.
actually at the resort that we honeymooned at.
Make it trip of the week.
And just went back to. So, there you go. There's our trip of the week.
Trip of the week. Regency La Toc, sandals.
Yep, Leslie and Mac. Congratulations.
But you got to have the koozies.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll chalk it up. We'll chalk this up as a show. Again, thank you guys so much. We appreciate your ear. Appreciate you guys listening to us. If you have any questions about anything you heard, give us a holler. Give us a shout. If not, have a great week, night, morning, day, wherever you are, whenever you are.
Yep. Catch you next time.
Catch you next time. Thanks, guys.